This hour is brought to you by Jeremy Temple Law Office of Bloomington. Personal injury, criminal, business, whatever you need, Jeremy Temple Law Office will get you taken care of.
Well, we're coming to your city. Gonna play our guitars and sing you a country song. We'll all be flying higher than a jetliner. And if you want a little bang in your yin-yang, come along.
Well, come on, welcome aboard to a coronavirus-free Indiana Sports Beat with Coy O'Leary as we're coming to you here on this Tuesday. We're here and alive and well. Todd Leary, how are you, man?
Man, I'm good. This is the calm before the storm. This Monday and Tuesday is just boring.
Yeah, but which storm that is going to be is the question because the coronavirus is sweeping us, man. I just looked down. Ohio State has canceled in-person classes until the end of the month, at least right now.
What?
Yes, I just saw that Ohio State has canceled in-person classes through the end of this month. Just saw that.
Interesting.
That's mind-boggling. You've got
every school is hoping that they have the same thing.
Yeah, California has prohibited the gathering of 1,000 of events with 1,000 or more people. That means no Trump rallies, no NCAA, no. I mean, you can't do anything. No basketball. Can you imagine? I can tell you one thing: it's not stopping the Indiana high school boys basketball tournament. Crazy as it may be, there's going to be 8,105 people at Seymour this weekend, baby. Twice, probably. But, yeah, it's crazy how that is really – it's sweeping the country. But it's amazing to see – I don't think the effects are done yet. I mean, I don't know that the effects on the NCAA tournament is done yet. This could turn into something crazy, man.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those situations where I feel like I need to watch the news more. Obviously, I see stuff about it, but I haven't read intently about it to see. Like, I can't believe they're canceling class in Ohio State. I can't believe. I mean, I shouldn't say I can't believe. I just don't know enough about it. I mean, you want to talk about the last four in and the last four out, I can have that discussion. But I don't know jack about the coronavirus.
The Big Ten for this weekend, the Big Ten Network, they're doing their halftime show, all that from the studio, not coming to Indianapolis. Now, to me, that is ridiculous. I'm like, seriously? But oh well. They're doing all that stuff from the studio. We're not sending anybody down here. Of course, I guess the play-by-play guys will be courtside. That's a great question. I don't know that for a fact. That would be wild if they did that. But yeah, it's crazy.
Most of the games. In all seriousness, most of the games are probably on ESPN and CBS.
Well, I meant like the Big Ten tournament. For the Big Ten tournament,
I mean the same thing. I mean, most of those games are probably going to be on. Not all of them. I mean, especially the Wednesday games. Those will probably be on the Big Ten Network. But most of the other games in the Big Ten tournament will probably be on ESPN, I would guess. And then Sunday's game Saturday and Sundays will definitely be on CBS.
Right, I guess. But the bigger point is that it cracks me up that it's gone to that level. I'm like, wow,
I agree.
It's just, but that just shows how sweeping this thing is getting. I mean, it's nuts. We haven't seen the end of this. I mean, I don't think that we've seen the end of the effects on the NCAA tournament. The funny thing is, you know, back in the day, you'd always watch games. There was nobody there any damn way,
right?
Because you got teams playing out from the East Coast playing on the West Coast at 11 in the morning. You're like, yeah, that's not going to work. Right. But yeah, it's definitely something that's going to be.
It's impacting. That's for sure.
I mean, think about the high school tournament. Seymour is going to have 8,000 people at Seymour, no doubt. Wherever these other ones are, they're going to have massive crowds there too. I mean, wow.
Well, hey, this is why I haven't been that worried about it, is I saw on Facebook, and I know, so it means it's factual.
That's right.
That if you drank Mad Dog 2020 when you were growing up as a kid, that you're immune to it.
You're clear.
So, yeah,
I thought you just had to drink. I thought you had to drink Corona.
No, it was Mad Dog 20.
I've been drinking
2020.
Corona for the last 2 weeks.
That helps you now. I mean, as a child, it built up your immune system as a child.
Crap. Got the wrong way.
Yeah.
But it's and there's no shot, there's no flu shot, that's the thing. That's the thing. It's not. This is not like it's the bubonic plague that they can't do anything about. It's just I guess a new strand that it's affecting more older people, I think. But it's just new, and there's no you can't stop it now.
The effect that it's had on the economy is the scary part.
Oh yeah, and you cannot stop it. There's no stopping it. It's like a tsunami. It's coming. It's on its way. It's just coming. So just have to battle it.
Everybody needs to move to Salem, move into Jake's basement. We'll all be safe. We'll all be safe. Bring it on.
Football practice is going on as we speak out at the John Mellencamp Pavilion on the campus of Indiana University. Football practice going on right now. Normally would be there, but of course we're doing the show, so we're not. But yeah, spring camp underway.
Who else isn't there? Peyton Ramsey.
Yeah, there you go. Great segue, because he's up in Evanston, Illinois. Not yet, but he's going to be playing for Northwestern next year, which is cool. They could use, the funny thing is, I think they have 7 quarterbacks now, but the biggest reason they stunk last year was because of quarterback play. So I think that's going to be a great landing spot for him. And he's so polished. He's going to make those other dudes.
It's an interesting, that transfer portal. Coming in, being there for 1 year, trying to learn a new system. You really have to find a program that just fits your skill set, because otherwise it seems strange to be going to a place where there's that many quarterbacks already. But obviously you picked it for a reason.
One of them, Todd, is the kid from the kid from Brownstown or Brownsburg, whichever one it was, that was a 5-star recruit that went to Clemson and transferred from Clemson to Northwestern. Thought he was going to be the guy last year, and he wasn't. We saw that when Northwestern came to Bloomington to play. They just had no offense whatsoever, and so I think.
But Indiana doesn't play Northwestern next year, right?
No, that's the thing. That's why he wouldn't have transferred there if they were on the schedule. So that allows him to stay close to home. He stays in the Big Ten. He gets to play a Big Ten schedule, gets a hell of an education at Northwestern.
Right.
Don't forget, folks, that's a place that I'm not getting into. I'm not getting into Northwestern. That's for the smart people. But so Peyton Ramsey, obviously doing a great job there. He's going to be a coach, man. His future's not playing as a player. He's going to be a coach. And yeah, wish him all the best.
You certainly would think so, yeah.
I think it's going to work out well for him. It's a great deal. It's pretty cool. So I know a lot of Hoosier fans will be cheering him on over there. And of course, he gets to play Purdue again. That's one good thing that he does do is so they'll definitely be cheering for him to take down the Boilers.
Yeah, interesting. It's interesting. And Samson James came back, right?
Oh, yes. Samson James is back. He is back in the fold. I think he just got a little upset when Dave Ballou left, the strength coach, and they had a relationship. He had been at Avon where Samson went to high school.
Right.
So that was just hard on him, and I think he admitted that he just overreacted, and so you got that going on. But they've got a kid in the camp.
So hang on a minute. Overreacted. So can you just wake up in the morning and just click a button and say, you know what? I'm going to the transfer portal today.
You can do now.
Can you?
Yeah, I don't know I've never entered the transfer portal yet, but
if IU loses to Nebraska, I'm putting my name in the transfer portal from a fan's base perspective.
Well, somebody did that earlier this year.
I know.
Funny.
I'm stealing that joke from somebody, and I've used it 85 times, and people think I'm hilarious with it. And I stole it pretty funny, off Twitter.
Yeah, it is pretty funny. Then there was another guy.
Jay Ewell.
Yeah, it was Josh. That was Josh. And then another one, I think it was Andy. Andy.
Uncle Andy?
No, different Andy. That he went through the process of picking a new school to be a fan of, but he was doing it Yes, did it like the recruits. He's got his hats out in front of him. Who he's going to go to?
I like that one too.
That was pretty
good.
funny. That was pretty funny.
Well, if you can do it on a year-to-year basis, then I'm always going to be an Indiana fan.
That's
no
back to the
what.
renewable scholarship days.
Yeah, I am. There is no doubt. But if I can pick a secondary school, I'm gonna pick Dayton for the year because they're just fun to watch.
Yeah, back at I have a little.
But next year they're going to suck. Like they'll be terrible again. As soon as Obi Toppin leaves, they'll suck again. But he is that good.
Yeah, I mean I'm not going to say they're going to suck, but they're going to have a drop off because he's just a superstar. He's a lottery pick, man.
For a school like that, he's a generational player.
He's a lottery pick that has had an unbelievable impact on the team. There's a difference. I mean, Romeo was a lottery picked. His impact wasn't as huge. But man, what an impact Obi Top. I didn't
That's
mean that.
Your understatement of the week.
Well, I didn't mean it. Well, I don't mean it in a negative way.
I know you don't. It's just
I was trying to let it slide back quickly because I didn't want it to be perceived as negative. I'm just kidding.
It's not a Bash Romeo statement.
It's not intended to be. It's Obi Toppin just a freaking. I mean, wow,
big a deal Obi Toppin is. Yeah, he's
just crazy. I'm like, yeah, he's superstar-esque. It's wild.
He's you know how there's a lot of guys like Romeo. There's question marks as to how's his game going to transfer to the NBA. There are no questions about how Obi Toppin's game is going to transfer to the NBA. Zero. Like he is already that caliber of player. From a rebounding perspective, from a scoring perspective, from defensive perspective, blocking shots, running the floor, everything he does. If he's not the number one pick, there better be a huge gap that team needs that they're selecting someone else for.
Joker also says he's entering the transfer portal. It's going to be a busy place, man. It's going to be a busy place.
No. They're going to win. They're going to make it to the final game of the Big Ten tournament, and we're all going to be right there on the bandwagon.
I agree, man. I'm looking forward to the high school tournament this week. I know you are. You got a son playing in it, but I'm just looking for because I love it. This is like, but way better. There are things. The Little League World Series, the Indiana High School basketball tournament, the NCAA tournament. There are just things that it's like an entire season. It's like a Christmas season. Each one is its own Christmas season. The high school basketball tournament, amazing. The NCAA tournament, amazing. All the Little League World Series, that stuff, just fun little great pieces of our lives. But man, let's hope that stuff does not get wiped out by this stupid coronavirus.
Yeah, no kidding.
But I'm looking forward to it. I know you are looking forward, and we'll talk about it a lot more as we get closer to it this weekend. But man, think about your days. I know you've had, this is your third son to go through this, but it was fun for me as a fan. So I can't imagine being a part of it. And then now I have a daughter who plays sports, so I understand the exhilaration that comes with that. So as seeing yet another son getting to play in a regional, that's got to be awesome for you, man.
Yeah, I can remember back to how fun and exciting those days were. And I don't know, that's how God is an unbelievable state of Indiana high school basketball fan, because the weather on that sectional Saturday and regionals and semi-state Saturdays, it just always seems to be a little bit sunnier and a little bit warmer than it usually is. It's one of those days your senses are heightened. And I mean, I loved everything about it. I loved the two games in the one day. Man, it just was, I can't tell you how the state of depression I was in. My junior year, we probably had a better team than we had my senior year. And we got beaten the first game of the sectional. And it was like, I'm telling you, it was tough to come out of. I couldn't watch any games. I couldn't do anything. And so, I've tried to get my son to understand how special it is and to remember it, because, this is definitely a dad talking, because I'm trying to get him to think about 30 years from now, how he's going to look back on it. And he's like, yeah, whatever. I mean, he didn't want to hear it. But I mean, it's true.
Who did? None of us did. We were a bunch of idiots at that age.
I knew everything. Why was my dad trying to tell me something? I already knew everything. It just didn't make any sense. But
we are amazing creatures.
That hasn't changed. That hasn't changed a lot. I still know everything, and I just seem to learn new lessons all the time about it.
But looking forward to that. Who do they play?
Remember, I told you it was a team I had never heard of.
Oh, that's right, New Haven.
New Haven, yeah.
See, that's all you had to tell me, and that reminded me of who it was. Exactly.
That reminded you because you never heard of it either.
I know. I'm like, oh yeah, that was New Haven he was talking about. Looking forward to that. And lots more to talk about. A lot of games. The tournaments are going on now. A lot of things that are going to affect the NCAA tournament as far as bid stealers and this and that, and bigger conferences that are starting play today. I mean, just all kinds of stuff, man. It's giddy. It's Christmas time. We got lots more coming up here from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios. Coyle Lurie back with more right after this. Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
I'm Rain Shaddy, and I'm a Hoosier. As a toddler, you could always find me running around in a cream and crimson onesie and a red IU hat reminiscent of those worn during the world-famous William Tell timeout, shouting, "Go Hoosiers!" Like many other alum, I chose to make Bloomington my home. As a civic and alumni leader, I have become very knowledgeable about our community and would love to share my insights with you as your realtor. Find me on Facebook or call or text me, Ryan Shaddy, with FC Tucker Bloomington Realtors at 765-623-9093.
Now that warm weather has arrived, it's time to hit the links, and there's no better place than the Golf Club at Eagle Point in Bloomington. Voted best golf course by the readers of the Bloomington Herald-Times, the Golf Club at Eagle Point is under new ownership, has new fairways and bunkers, and it's open to the public. When the round's over, there's cold beer and a full menu at the Eagle Point Pub and Bistro. Call 812-824-1100 to make a tee time. That's 812-824-1100. The Golf Club at Eagle Point in Bloomington.
This is A.J. Moyer.
This is Dan Dockett.
Hey, this is Michael Lewis, former Indiana basketball player.
This is Indiana football coach Tom Allen.
This is Jim Coyle with Indiana Sports Beat. You can always like and follow us on Facebook. Always follow the show rebroadcast on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. TheDailyHoosier.com is a great place to sign up for each and every day. Or, of course, on 97.7 The Ref in Evansville.
Some of the best sounds you'll ever hear are generic, safe, effective, even money-saving, just like FDA-approved generic drugs. Even if they don't come in the exact same color or shape as their brand name equivalents, they have the same key ingredients and go through a rigorous review process. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist today and visit fda.gov/generic drugs. Generics are safe, effective, and can save you money. You'll like the sound of that.
Hey, it's Michael Lewis, former Indiana University player and current UCLA assistant basketball coach, and you're listening to Indiana Sports Beat.
This segment is brought to you by Reynolds Family Dentistry.
Well, I think, part of the droughts, sometimes they can make a big deal about it, over the course of a game or a course of a stretch that you're not making any shots. And to be honest with you, we probably missed 5 or 6 shots within 3 feet of the basket. You have to be able to find a way to knock those in and play a little bit stronger around the rim. That's been our problem at times because we do play inside out, and at times we do try to get the ball inside. When it does get in there, man, you got to take advantage of those opportunities. And I just think too many times right now we're having a hard time either putting one in or finishing a stick back, or we get fouled and go to the line and don't convert on that. So if you're going to survive at this time of year, you're going to have some bigger, stronger finishes. You're going to have to get to the line and make them. And then you can add in the other part of it where you're going to need some guard play or at least some perimeter shooting to be able to open the floor up. But
There's Coach Archie Miller talking about his Indiana team. They're playing tomorrow to start Big Ten tournament play. Tomorrow evening, I think, was it 8:25? Was that game time?
Well, it's after the 6 o'clock game, so
yeah, it's 30 minutes past. So
right,
whenever that one ends, as they're taking on Nebraska and Fred Hoiberg, a team that, they were picked to win nothing, and he got something out of them. I mean, I'd say that Fred Hoiberg got whatever he could get out of that team this year, Todd.
Yeah, I mean they won a couple of games, fairly early in the season and were super competitive. Heck, they took Indiana, I think, to overtime. So, they overachieved, but when the expectation level is so low, you still don't feel that great about it. I mean, Fred, I think is a friend of mine, and we've talked about it a little bit. I mean, he still feels like they left a lot on the table, and there's a lot more they could have done. But that team, as I've said on the show here several times, I mean, that team truly was thrown together in about 35 days. There is one player remaining from their roster last year, and he was not a starter by any means. So it's just, they've overachieved from the standpoint of, where a lot of teams would be playing in this league, but they're still fighting, they're still battling some issues. I mean, they've had some off the court issues here in the last 2 weeks that they're battling some of that stuff too. So it's not just been their inexperience and lack of playing together and all that. I mean, they're battling some other things too. So it's a toughie.
In the next hour, we're going to talk to our good friend Mike DeCourcy from Fox, from the Big Ten Network, from Sporting News. He's really gotten into the bracketology, but he's been completely open. I heard him say it verbatim, and I said it on the show yesterday. His stick is, this is what I think the NCAA is going to do. This is not what I think. So I'm looking forward to talking to him. We are looking forward to having him on as always. But that's the thing. He's not injecting, and you've talked about this, he's not injecting his opinion as far as this or that. He's trying to be completely removed and saying, this is what I think they are going to do, because this is what I think they are looking at and how I think they look at it. There is I think Zach Osterman actually put that together that they posted yesterday, but it had just a complete list of basically of all the bubble teams, I guess, Indiana and all the teams that are in that same area. And I got Providence. Look, Providence is a team that looked pretty close to as good as Indiana as well. That should probably is a team that probably deserves to be in, because Indiana continues to lose quad one wins after they already achieved them. Now, Todd, I think they're down to 5 quad one wins now.
Yeah, I think they are. But they also, they also could sneak a couple back in there, because if Iowa could make a run in the tournament, they could sneak back into the top 30. Truly, if UConn could win a couple of games in their tournament, they could actually sneak into the top 50, which is what they would need to be for a neutral site quad one win. So, the numbers on those, I mean, they've had a good, a decent season since they played Indiana. So there's been a lot of teams that, that I think is what Archie Miller's, kind of rant on Saturday was all about. And look, I hope that, our loyal listeners remember that I was bashing Joe Lunardi last Friday before Archie Miller went into the Sesame Street rant. I was mad. I wasn't bashing. I have respected, and I said this on the show, I have been a gigantic Joe Lunardi fan for years, because I really have always felt like he did exactly what you just mentioned about Mike DeCourcy. He took the facts that were out there and what the committee has basically done in the past, and put those two things together and said, this is what I project is going to happen, because this is what's happened in the past. And all of a sudden last week, I saw a special with him on Thursday night, and it was specifically about Purdue, basically. and which I should be fine with the fact that he was saying Purdue does not even deserve to be in the conversation because he wanted to create a whole new category called too many losses. And I'm like, who are you all of a sudden? Now you're not projecting what you think the committee is going to determine. Now you're trying to tell the committee something they should factor into it. And I'm like, that's not what you've become so successful about before. So that's why I jumped on the be mad at Joe Lunardi. I think he's good. Here's what's kind of pissing me off is you look at all these people jumping to Joe Lunardi's defense, and all they keep saying is he loves basketball. He's a great basketball guy. He's great for the game of basketball and all that. That is not up for debate. That none of that's not true. Like everybody likes Joe Lunardi. I think he's a great person. That's not the issue. All of a sudden now, though, it's what I said last week. I think all of a sudden he's valuing his own opinion a little bit too much because we don't want Joe Lunardi's opinion. We want Joe Lunardi to take the facts that he's done forever. That's how he became the premier bracketologist, not by us telling us his opinion 5 years ago. And that's all I got to say about that.
Hey, I got some. All right, I'm going to go through this, some numbers here. I'm going to give you a team without saying who the team is.
I love this. The question mark game. I love this.
Yeah, comparison. Do you want me to give you Indiana's numbers as a basis to start, and we'll go use Indiana as the basis?
You don't need to. I've studied it. Go ahead.
But
Test me.
The one thing, the net rank, that net, they might as well just get rid of that net. That thing looks to be as pointless as can be.
Hey, hang on a second. I heard this stat last night, and I have not had a chance to look it up. I forgot till you just said that. Jake, I'm putting you on the mission for this. The ESPN announcer last night said that last year, the top 16 teams at the end of the season, the top 16 teams in the net ranking, 15 of them made the Sweet 16. Look that up and tell me if that's even possible.
Yeah, that would be interesting. Okay, Indiana currently at 19 and 12. Their net is 60, which strength of schedule 49, Ken Palm 39, KPI 43, strength of record 28.
And if you listen to Archie discuss the net, I said this earlier in the season. My issue with the net is it factors in too many things in regards to how bad you beat a team. It's like an AAU, it's like an AAU qualifier where this team gets a higher ranking because they beat a team by 22 instead of beating them by 11. And that just, I don't understand how that's a thing. Right.
I agree. And then they've got 5 top 25 wins, which no one has more that is in this category. Let's see. Like I said, I think one team, Providence, maybe had as many. And Providence has 7 quad 1 wins versus the 4 they're showing for Indiana now. But they also have 3 quad 3 losses where Indiana has 0. So
Indiana's down to 4?
Yeah, they're down to 4 quad 1 wins.
Who else dropped out?
I don't know. Maybe they're 4 with 5 quad 2 wins. But they've got 5 wins over top 25 teams. And that's pretty that's I mean, they're
pull up my net ranking here because somebody else had to have just dropped out of the top 30 then. Because they my bad. I'm pulling it up as we're going here.
Florida's a 19 and 12 team. You got a Marquette that's 18 and 12. Man, you got a LSU 21 and 10. But they have.
You know what? I bet Penn State. I bet Penn State dropped out of the top 30 because they're 35th now.
Very possible. Look at a team like LSU though, 21 and 10. They have 0 wins over a top 25 team. 0 because they play in a weak SEC conference. They do have 4 quad 1 wins, which is equal to Indiana, but they also have a quad 3 loss. So Indiana does not. It's just it's going to be tight for some of these teams. And again, this bid Steelers situation is going to change things this week. It's going to make life rough for some people.
They're going a lot. There's so far, I don't see too many. I don't see too many bid stealers. I mean, it's kind of going as planned. And the teams, the conference tournaments that are not having the number 1 seed team win, they're one bid teams anyway, or one bid leagues anyway. Like Northern Iowa getting beat, that's a one bid league. So, they're already listed as a top NIT team. There just hasn't been that many bid stealers right now.
Well, yeah, but I think
but it could be these bigger tournaments. You get a North Carolina.
I think there's only been like 6 tournaments complete so far. I think there's like 30 to go. I'm like 28 to go. I mean, the onslaught is about to happen.
Yeah, I mean, the crazy part would be, if someone in like the Big East or Conference USA or somebody, if one of those leagues had a big time upset, or one of the teams that runs outside the bubble runs all the way to the finals or wins the tournament or something like that, would be big.
But again, and everybody, we talk about all this stuff, and we're the same. We're putting on all these numbers and this and that. But at the end of the day, it's funny because if you take care of business, you don't have to worry about any of this crap.
Yep.
You don't have to worry. If you just go win, you don't have to have the gnashing of teeth and the wailing and all that, man. Just go win. Just win, baby, like Al Davis did.
Truly, I mean, I hate to be this way about it because I want them in so badly. But if Indiana loses to Nebraska, they don't deserve to be in.
Yeah, you want them to earn it.
Yep.
Absolutely.
A lot of it, and I've said this for years, and Indiana's used this to their advantage for years, that you need to value how the team is playing this time of year. And, that's truly the only reason why a team like Providence is even in the consideration. I mean, they've won 6 games in a row, I believe, and beat teams like Villanova and Seton Hall.
Yeah, they've got some good wins.
Yeah, they got some really good wins. So, that's just they've won 6 games in a row at the end of the year. I mean, why is everybody talking about Wisconsin right now so much, even nationally? Because they've won 8 games in a row right now, and 9 out of 10. I mean, they're hot right now. And all Indiana's got to do is go on a little bit of a run, and everyone will talk about them. They've not been able to string it together.
Ryan from Whitmore Lake, Michigan asks, as you know, I live pretty close to U of M. Do you know why they would be considered higher than IU right now in terms of tournament chances? Well, they finished higher than them in the Big Ten. They beat Indiana.
Barely, though.
They didn't. But those are the
season.
simple reasons. In this season, it just whatever those little things are, the little things are going to make the difference. They had a better head-to-head. They don't have a losing record in the Big Ten, even though it's by 1 game. It's those little things. That's all it takes is to move them up a little bit. Because to me, there's so many Big Ten teams that are basically in a basket. Indiana is one of those teams with Michigan. There's no difference between the two, I don't think, on a neutral court. Several Big Ten teams like that, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, and they did something early in the season that got national attention.
Yes, they did.
They went and beat North Carolina and Gonzaga. And that was just they went and won that tournament, beating 3 pretty good teams. I mean, Iowa State's decent, but then beating, at the time, it was number 6 North Carolina. It was before injuries and before they had their huge drop-off. And they beat Gonzaga, who we all agree is just a really, really good team. And so they gained that national attention early. And then they've one thing, and they made, a decent portion of their season without Isaiah Livers. And he's their best player without any question. So they get to factor that into it. And do I agree with it? No, not necessarily. They've lost 3 out of 4. I don't love that. I don't love the fact they looked so much better than Indiana, but truly that 1 game is that big a difference. I mean, we would not be talking about Indiana even playing on Wednesday if Indiana was 10-10. We would not be talking about, Indiana. Why is Michigan ranked, perceived higher than Indiana if that 1 game was different? And that 1 game would have been beating Wisconsin. And if they beat Wisconsin or Maryland at home, both games they definitely should have won.
Arkansas.
But those 2 games in particular, I mean, those are both high quad 1 wins. Arkansas still wouldn't be a quad 1 win, but it would be.
Probably would be. They're on the tournament bubble.
Yeah, they're not a top 30 though. I don't think they're a net top 30.
No.
It was on our home court, and they're not a top 30.
We got lots more coming up here on Indiana Sports Beat. Mike DeCourcy is going to join us, like I said, in the next hour. Looking forward to talking to him about some Sesame Street action and bracketology and whatnot. Just kidding. Mike does a great job. We're always fortunate to have him on. Looking forward to talking to him about the college basketball season as it continues. And we got lots more to get to as we're talking about it here on this Tuesday. Boy O'Leary back with more right after this. Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
I'm Rain Shaddy, and I'm a Hoosier. As a toddler, you could always find me running around in a cream and crimson onesie and a red IU hat reminiscent of those worn during the world-famous William Tell timeout, shouting, "Go Hoosiers!" Like many other alum, I chose to make Bloomington my home. As a civic and alumni leader, I have become very knowledgeable about our community and would love to share my insights with you as your realtor. Find me on Facebook or call or text me, Ryan Shaddy, with FC Tucker Bloomington Realtors at 765-623-9093.
Now that warm weather has arrived, it's time to hit the links, and there's no better place than the golf club at Eagle Point in Bloomington. Voted best golf course by the readers of the Bloomington Herald-Times, the golf club at Eagle Point is under new ownership, has new fairways and bunkers, and it's open to the public. When the round's over, there's cold beer and a full menu at the Eagle Point Pub and Bistro. Call 812-824-1100 to make a tee time. That's 812-824-1100. The golf club at Eagle Point in Bloomington.
This is AJ Moye.
This is Dan Dawkins.
Hey, this is Michael Lord, former Indiana basketball player.
This is Indiana football coach Tom Allen.
This is Jim Coyle with Indiana Sports Beat. You can always like and follow us on Facebook. Always follow the show rebroadcast on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. TheDailyHoosier.com is a great place to sign up for each and every day. Or, of course, on 97.7 The Ref in Evansville.
Some of the best sounds you'll ever hear are generic. Safe. Effective. Even money-saving, just like FDA-approved generic drugs. Even if they don't come in the exact same color or shape as their brand name equivalents, they have the same key ingredients and go through a rigorous review process. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist today and visit fda.gov/generic drugs. Generics are safe, effective, and can save you money. You'll like the sound of that.
Hi, this is AJ Moye, and you're listening to Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle.
Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat. Coyle here with you here on this Tuesday. We're just perusing through last year's net rankings, looking at what the final result was. I know that Texas Tech and Michigan State, Texas Tech last year, Final Four member, their net was 10. Michigan State was 8. Virginia was number 1. And Gonzaga, number 2. But
what about? Sorry.
No, I was going to say as far as going down further, yeah, because that's your question. We were trying to figure out like the top 16, which I'll have to go through there and individualize that out. But to see how that actually works out, it'll be interesting to see how those numbers end up over the course of the season.
Okay, so what about Florida State?
Last year's Florida State?
Yep.
See, they're in the ACC. Let me punch them up. Florida State net 16.
Okay. So they made the Sweet 16.
Any other ACC teams?
You're in the ACC. Virginia, you already said, was number 1. ACC teams. Duke, but they were
Number 3.
North Carolina.
North Carolina was number 1.
Yeah. They were 1 seeds.
Or no, I'm sorry, there were 7.
Yeah.
7 net ranking.
Okay, Houston. What was Houston last year?
Let's see. Are they the ace? No, what are they in? That's the Conference USA, isn't it? Are they Conference USA?
No. Hey, go back to the ACC. What was Virginia Tech? That's going to be one. That's going to be questionable.
Virginia Tech was a 11.
Okay. They were an 11 net?
Yep.
Wow.
With a 4-9 Q1 record.
Here's why I think what he said might have been true, because here are the seedings from last year in the Sweet 16. All 4 number 1s made it. The highest seed was number 12, Oregon. So did Oregon probably look in the Pac-12 and see what Oregon's net ranking was last year? What was Auburn's? SEC, Auburn. See, this is why when I tell people on the show that I'm
18.
a nerd.
18.
See, so what he's saying is not necessarily true, because Auburn was in the but still, so far it's incredible the fact of how many of them there are, because but last year I think was a little bit of an anomaly, because you look at the Thursday games from last year, you had 2 1 seeds, 2 2 seeds, 2 3 seeds, a 4 and a 12. So chalk almost made it throughout the entire bracket. And then on Friday you had 2 1 seeds, 2 2 seeds, 2 3 seeds, a 4 and a 5. So that whole bracket, except for Auburn, was in the top 16.
Can you imagine if people landed from another planet and heard us talking and say, "What are these morons talking about?"
Can you imagine? Can you imagine just anyone that's like just a tennis fan or just a golf fan? They hear us talking about this and they're like, "Who cares?" I do. Unfortunately, I'm a nerd. I love this crap.
Time of year, man. This is like evaluating Christmas.
It is. Hey, you know what? When they start doing mock draft number 7.95 out of whoever that guy is that does all the mock drafts, I don't get mad about that. I let him do it. So go ahead and let me do my little mock NCAA tournament. Just let me have my moment. I enjoy it. It's our Christmas, remember? That's what we said. We're combining Hanukkah and Christmas and making it a full month's worth of
Hanukkah
fun.
Hanukkah.
Say those again. Can we hear you?
Yeah. Wofford finished 13th in the net. LSU finished 14th in the net, and Buffalo finished 15th in the net. Indiana finished 54th.
Wofford was 14th. Wofford was 14th. Say that again. That's crazy.
Yeah. So then, when you analyze that, who's the crazy team right now in the net? I just hadn't. Yeah, I mean, they're like Utah State is like 9th or something crazy in the net right now. Yeah, BYU is 9th in the net right now. I mean, they just lost last night. I don't know if that will affect it a bunch, but I mean, other than that, it's this year. It's not. I think we'll be surprised if it ends up being anywhere near that many teams in the top 16 of the net making it to the Sweet 16, because this year, I mean, I think it's going to be craziness.
It's going to be fun, and it's going to be. There may be more. There may be more discussion this year of who's in, who's out than ever because of the weirdness, of the tightness, the parity, if you want to call it that.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm going to jump back on the horse for a minute. I'm going to say, this year it's a different year. Like we can't base it. I'm not saying, hey, the Big Ten deserves 10 or 11 teams in the NCAA tournament every year. Like I'm definitely not saying that. This year, I don't know that anyone could ever compare the depth of the Big Ten to the depth of any other team. I mean, they talk about the Big East from a few years ago when there was, I think they got 11 teams in and they had, or 10 teams or 11 teams in, and they had 18 teams in their conference. I mean, that was a different kind of year, and I don't think anybody argued with that. This year, it's just different. I don't know why Joe Lunardi is trying to take such a hard stance against the Big Ten in a year that you can't really compare past years to how deep this league is. Like, you take some of these other teams. I'm sorry, but I don't care. You can't use the analogy of too many losses. Like, he just really got under my skin when he tried to use that analogy the other day, because, you're talking about teams like Stanford. They're talking about being in right now, and they're 20-11. You put them in the Big Ten, man, come on. They'd have 16 or 17 losses. I mean, and yes, I am very confident in saying that. You take a team like Richmond, these teams would not be on the bubble. You take UCLA. UCLA got off to such a bad start this year, and they've had an incredible turnaround. But you put them in the Big Ten where every night they're playing somebody good, they would not even be in the bubble discussion. That's what has me so PO'd about it.
Some good news for Indiana tomorrow. Gina listening down up in Zionsville. Nebraska will be without Deshaun Burke. 6'4" guard, averages over 12 points a game. Big part of Nebraska's offense. He's as far as I know, he's still available.
Ooh, I don't know. It's my understanding. I
haven't seen either way.
I don't think either one of those guys is playing. But that definitely is not a negative thing. Cam Mack is one of the fastest players in all of college basketball with the ball in his hands. So, those kind of guys have given Indiana trouble over the years, and especially this year. So that would not hurt my feelings if he wasn't available.
How'd you like to be Deshaun Burke? He had a statement. Thank you, Nebraska. President Walter Carter Jr., Athletic Director Bill Mose, Head Coach Fred Hoiberg, PBA, Hoisker fan base, blah, blah, blah. You've always had a special place in my heart. I'm extremely thankful for the coaching staff, yada, da, 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 da. Made the season great. I'd lost to thank my brothers for fighting, yada, yada, yada. I sincerely apologize for missing curfew on Friday night in Minnesota, which led to me being suspended indefinitely and bringing a lot of negative attention to the Big Red family. Good luck to my brothers and Husker families as well as they go out. You got to send a public apology, man, out to your team because you got suspended because you weren't a good teammate. That's a life lesson there. You got to take your hat off to him for that, but costing his team a little bit.
Yeah, and there was a report of Cam Mack leaving the scene of an accident.
Yeah, I'm going to guess this is not the first time something is going on here. This is kind of severe for something that innocuous. I think that there's more going on behind the scenes, obviously, and that's part of what Fred Hoiberg's dealing with, like Archie Miller and a lot of other people. When you come into a new program, there's going to be some stuff you have to wade through, and Fred's doing that. Archie's doing that somewhat as well.
Yep, no doubt about it. And it's just, thank you for the information from Zionsville. But that's any Indiana cannot lose this game. Anything that can help them win this game on Wednesday, we will take right now. It's unfortunate. I don't root for any kid to be in trouble or make poor decisions. But right now, from an Indiana basketball perspective, they cannot lose this game. So we'll take any little help we can get.
Yeah, that's funny. Everybody keeps asking, what does Indiana have to do to get in? Well, it's pretty simple. Just not lose. You just can't lose this game. That's
here, it's the same thing, same position they were in last year. It's Wednesday instead of Thursday. Last year they lost their first game was on Thursday, and they lost that game. But, it's the same position. Like
they're in better shape this year than they were last year.
They are. They really are. I mean, they've got to beat a lesser team this year in order to get in. And it's not that you said it yesterday, and I think it's as factual as it can get. This game does not help Indiana's case, but losing it would be the nail in the coffin to where everyone could say, look, they're losing to a team that, has 7 scholarship players right now. Like they're finished last in the league, and they're losing to them on a neutral site. Like they don't deserve to be in. And it would be very hard to argue against that. I think Archie, I'm the first one that says anytime someone wants to battle, this is why I say Purdue should be in, because of their ability to beat good teams. And, but if you lose to a team like Nebraska right now, you make it very difficult for me to have that argument.
Here's an argument we always make. With that team would not be in if they played in the Big Ten. Well, if Purdue didn't play in the Big Ten, they'd be in this tournament.
That's exactly right.
And a few other teams, maybe not too many, because I think most of them are going to get in.
If Minnesota played in the Big East, they'd be in.
Yeah, they had some health issues, but yeah, that the Big Ten was so tough this year that teams that normally would make it in, or if they were someplace else, they'll get in, but not out of here. It's a rough way to go.
Yep, sure is.
But Mike DeCourcy is going to join us in the next hour as soon as we.
Man, I'm excited about that.
And we are going to have plenty to talk about. And I think that he's pretty much spot on because
is he going to be on the full hour? Because that's how many questions I have for him.
Yeah, I doubt I wish he could stay on with us that long. That would be great.
I've just got a boatload. I was waking up in the middle of the night thinking about things I wanted to make sure I asked him.
And this is what he studies this stuff, and I mean studies it. We read and we follow. He studies. There's a difference, and they have a lot more resources that they can really. And so that's why people like him, you respect what they're saying because they're not just blowing stuff off here. They're putting time and effort into this, and they have some background into what they're doing.
I would stand in front of Joe Lunardi right now and make the statement because I have truly respected him and I still respect him. That's not the issue. I bet he is a great guy. Everyone, all the analysts from across the country and everything keep, defending him, saying he's a great guy and he's a huge he loves basketball. That's what I heard him kept saying last night. That's not the issue. He started injecting his opinion of things that they should. All of a sudden now out of nowhere, when he said they should he's come up with a new category and it's too many losses. That to me, like he lost me at that point. I don't need his opinion. I respect his, research and how he has studied all of this. Just like you said, I don't know that I respect the fact of him putting his opinion into it all of a sudden. I don't need somebody's opinion. Anybody's got an opinion.
Did you see what's going on down in Kentucky with Calipari and Ashton Hagans?
I don't even know where you begin with that.
I mean, that just cracks me up because it looks like the inmates are running the asylum down there, which is maybe how things run.
Did you see the Twitter thing the kid did?
No.
Well, watch that. He's holding about $20,000 in cash, flashing it on some Twitter video that he did. Talking about all the money he's got. Yeah, it makes no sense. Like it just makes no sense. I can't even explain it.
That's the good fun stuff, man. That's what you expect to see coming out of Lexington.
Mm-hmm.
It's
not surprising. That's the crazy part. It's not. You're exactly right. It is what you expect. I'm not surprised a bit.
That's like Kansas's video with Bill Self and the Adidas shirt and the gold chains and. It's just, you really question in the climate today why people do certain things. It's like, dude, do you just not have any common sense whatsoever?
Well, he goes to Kentucky, so the answer to that, we know.
Absolutely. Hey, make sure you hit us up on the text line coming up in the next hour. Mike DeCourcy, our friend from the Big Ten Network, from the Sporting News, from Fox. He is the bracketologist emeritus at Fox, and that's what he's going to be serving that purpose for us today, and he's the guy that we go to, that's for sure. Probably like him about as much as anybody. Mike is as generous with his time with us, and he's just been awesome.
He's awesome. He is the best. Totally agree.
Well, we got plenty more coming up here on Indiana Sports Beat. Mike DeCourcy is going to join us next. Stay tuned. We're back with that and plenty more right after this.
Going down the old man with a transistor radio. Standing in the sunlight laughing.
Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
I'm Rain Shaddy, and I'm a Hoosier. As a toddler, you could always find me running around in a cream and crimson onesie and a red IU hat reminiscent of those worn during the world-famous William Tell timeout, shouting, "Go Hoosiers!" Like many other alum, I chose to make Bloomington my home. As a civic and alumni leader, I have become very knowledgeable about our community and would love to share my insights with you as your realtor. Find me on Facebook or call or text me, Ryan Shaddy, with FC Tucker Bloomington Realtors at 765-623-9093.
Now that warm weather has arrived, it's time to hit the links, and there's no better place than the golf club at Eagle Point in Bloomington. Voted best golf course by the readers of the Bloomington Herald-Times, the golf club at Eagle Point is under new ownership, has new fairways and bunkers, and it's open to the public. When the round's over, there's cold beer and a full menu at the Eagle Point Pub and Bistro. Call 812-824-1100 to make a tee time. That's 812-824-1100. The golf club at Eagle Point in Bloomington.
This is A.J. Moye.
This is Dan Dockett.
Hey, this is Michael Lord, former Indiana basketball player.
This is Indiana football coach Tom Allen.
This is Jim Coyle with Indiana Sports Beat. You can always like and follow us on Facebook. Always follow the show rebroadcast on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. TheDailyHoosier.com is a great place to sign up for each and every day. Or, of course, on 97.7 The Ref in Evansville.
Some of the best sounds you'll ever hear are generic. Safe. Effective. Even money-saving, just like FDA-approved generic drugs. Even if they don't come in the exact same color or shape as their brand name equivalents, they have the same key ingredients and go through a rigorous review process. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist today and visit fda.gov/generic drugs. Generics are safe, effective, and can save you money. You'll like the sound of that.
You're on the line with Jamal Meeks, former Indiana Hoosier, number 23, 1992. And I'm on the beat with Jim Coyle.
Today's guest is brought to you by Reynolds Family Dentistry of Sellersburg. You need $1 million smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you'll get with Reynolds Family Dentistry. Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat here on this Tuesday. Coyle Leary with you, and we could not be happier. One of our absolute favorites, Mike DeCourcy from the Sporting News, Fox, and the Big Ten Network. Mike, how are you, man? This is a busy, busy time for you.
It is, and yet I'm taking a time out to talk to you.
I can tell you, no one in the world is more appreciative of your time right now than we are.
Oh, I'm glad. I'm happy to do it, fellas.
Because this is the absolute busiest time for you, of course, and a lot of notoriety, of course, because everything's coming down to quote-unquote bracketology and who's in, who's out, all that stuff. Everybody looking and squeezing numbers and all of that, and it's of all times this season, it just makes it all the more maddening. But what a fun time that just creates!
Yeah, it's fun for those of us who will be there regardless. I think that's for me. I've been to, I've covered tournaments since 1987, and or actually 1988, I should say. And I've covered the last 30 Final Fours, or actually 30 Final Fours with a couple of interruptions. And so I'm going to be there regardless. That those who are hopeful to get in, it can be a little bit unnerving. We've seen it every year, and obviously we saw it over the weekend a little closer to home.
Yeah, and unnerving, and the frustration starts to set in, and you. I think I know. I'm assuming you're referring to Archie's comments and that stuff, and obviously as Indiana fans and people that cover, we cover every game they do. We cover every press conference. We're as frustrated. I shouldn't say that. It's Archie's living, so I mean he's more frustrated, I think, than anyone. But overall, Indiana fans, like the state of Indiana fans, just rely so much on all the new networks. So now the Big Ten network and Fox has just gotten so much bigger, and of course ESPN and all that. And when we see the bracketology stuff that comes out, it's truly, it takes over our lives. It's like fantasy football when the NFL starts. And I'm not going to defend him. I don't even want to get into it that much with it, but I mean, how much? This is what I wanted to ask you: how much of what you do is based on, and I'm talking you, Mike DeCourcy, not speaking for someone else. How much of it is based on your opinion and your quote eye test versus just basic numbers and what you've seen in the 30 Final Fours that you've covered?
I will say that in regards to what I'm doing for Fox, my opinion probably matters not very much. I'm trying the best I can to think like the committee will think. That's what my goal is, what I'm charged with. For instance, in my bracket that I posted on Monday, I now have Dayton as a number 1 seed. I have San Diego State as a number 2 seed. If I were in charge of the brackets and putting them all together, and as you guys know, I should be. That's how it should be done. I should be.
I agree.
Sure. It should be me. And that's it. But it's not.
Right. One-man committee. So, I like it.
If I were, I would still have San Diego State as a number 1. I would not have Dayton as a number 1. I don't think that their resume is a 1-seed resume. They are a terrific basketball team. They certainly may have a 1-seed basketball team, but they don't have a 1-seed resume. And yet I think they're going to get it anyway. I think the net has changed the way things are evaluated a bit. I think that it's pretty. If you look around at the way other bracket projectors are doing it, that's their perception as well. And I'm basing that as much on how the committee evaluated teams in their bracket preview in early February as anything, because what I saw in that preview was, number 1, how many games you win and what are your analytics are the 2 most important things. They only had 2 Big Ten teams on the entire 16 projected bracket, the 4 seeds in each region, only 2 Big Ten teams, even though the Big Ten has been incredibly deep, incredibly strong outside the conference. I mean, you look around, Indiana, which I certainly think is going to get in, but which certainly has some degree of uncertainty to it.
Sure.
They beat the champions of the ACC by 16 points. The champions of the Big East, Villanova, went down to Ohio State. Seton Hall was beaten by 2 Big Ten teams, both Michigan State and Rutgers. I can't remember now who it was that got Creighton, but it might have been Iowa, but I'm not sure. Somebody got them.
I was thinking Iowa.
I think it was Minnesota.
Minnesota. Okay, I just looked it up last night and saw that so every team that won the Big East has a loss to at least one Big Ten team. And so this isn't just stuff that, people are making up. I mean, these teams have achieved, and yet only 2 of them on that mock bracket. So I don't expect to see a significant alteration of that because they've been beating up each other so much. 6 losses for each Big Ten champion. It has been much more advantageous to be a very good team like Louisville, Florida State, or Duke in the ACC than it has to been a very good team in the Big Ten.
Yeah,
I agree, man, and I'm looking forward to this Big Ten tournament because there's not really a team that can play its way in, but it's a lot of teams that can play their way up. And I mean, obviously, if someone won the tournament, they'd play their way in. But I just don't see Purdue.
And that's a question, Mike. Do you see Purdue having any chance without winning the tournament?
I think if they got to the final, they would at least be discussed. I believe if they got to the final and lost, their final record would be 19-16. There has never been a team that lost 16 games get to the tournament. But I don't think that any of the teams that lost 15, and I know Alabama in 18 and Vanderbilt in 17 are two of the teams that got in with 15 losses. I don't think either of those teams reached their conference final. So that would entail for Purdue collecting at least 3 more quad 1 wins and maybe 4. And they already have a pretty fair collection of them. So I won't rule out the possibility, but I think if they get there, it'd be a lot better to just go ahead and win it then. I know it's not easy, but if you can win the ones that get you there, the 3 that get you there, I guess you could win the 4th too.
Yep.
How well does the Big Ten have to do, Mike, do you think, for people not to say, oh, man, they were so overrated? Because there's going to be a lot of pressure on Big Ten teams to perform. Otherwise, they're going to say, oh, that was a big bunch of nothing. They were nobody. Because we see that all the time.
Tim, I think if they get all 4 Final Four teams, there might be a level of appreciation. Other than that, you're going to hear that. I mean that, and I am not exaggerating. I mean, like if they got 3 Final Four teams, I think they would still find a way to rip the league. Because I don't care whether the rest of the country figures it out or not. I mean, my job is to try to educate the country on matters of college basketball, and if they don't listen to me, I did my best, but and I do obviously work for the Big Ten Network, and I'm not hiding that. But I mean, you did not hear me or anyone else at the Big Ten Network complain about Nebraska not getting in 2 years ago at 13 and 15 in the league. I mean, there were no complaints. There was an understanding of why it was. We were among the first people to talk about it because we focus on those teams. And I remember in the probably the first weekend of February that year, that we put up Nebraska's schedule, remaining games on our screen, and said, "Here's the problem: they are really good, and they didn't do enough in non-conference. They lost that year to Creighton. They lost that year to Kansas. They had a chance in both games, didn't get either one." And the league schedule, because it wasn't a great year, fell so that they didn't play enough of the teams who were good. And they wound up 13-5. And when they didn't get in, you didn't hear any complaints from us on the air at BTN because we knew what the reality was. These were the reasons it didn't happen. And it was a shame for that team because they were good enough to certainly get in and play. But it didn't happen because the numbers didn't dictate it should. Now the numbers say, here, look at these teams. Look what they're doing. Look what they're going through. And nobody wants to hear it. No one, I hear constant complaints about how the net is rigged or they've gamed it or whatever. The 20-game schedule is unfair to the rest of the world. And the ACC has a 20-game schedule, and there are no numbers in its favor. Except they got 3 really good teams. Now 4 maybe with Virginia. You know what? That 4th really good team, Virginia, which is now a 2 seed in the ACC, you know how many points they scored when they went to Purdue? Like 20. I mean, it was the worst pounding I've ever seen in person. And yet, they go on and they come in 2nd in the ACC. So, I mean, what the Big Ten's record to this point is built on is out-of-conference achievement. It's not the best league ever, and it wasn't the best league ever in out-of-conference. And from a percentage standpoint, it wasn't even the best league this year. But they won a ton of highly significant games, and they earned the ratings that they have now.
Agree. Yesterday, the Big Ten Awards came out, and of course, for Indiana, fans. The one that they were looking at was the freshman of the year with Trace Jackson Davis and Coffee Coburn, who both guys had great seasons, and you couldn't have gone wrong either way. I mean, I think Kofi was the favorite going in, and he did end up winning the award. Of course, Indiana fans are going to think that Trace Jackson should have gotten it, and it was a great match between those two. They both had tremendous seasons.
They did, and I do wonder what would have happened if Trace had just gone out and crushed Wisconsin on Saturday, and just did it and had a great game. I do wonder whether it was decided when Kofi Coburn blocked Luka Garza's final shot, and Trace had a really difficult game on Saturday. Did that flip it? Did that make the decision? I don't know, but they both had great freshman years. They were terrific, and Trace has certainly had a great freshman year, and I hope he understands that the future of his career needs a great sophomore year and a better sophomore year to go with it.
Yeah.
Mike.
Hey, Mike. So let's just assume Indiana wins on Wednesday and beats Nebraska, and moves in, and win or lose from that point on. What other teams in other conferences do we need to watch out for making a run? Like, I know the last four ends, and I studied your bracket, way too much, believe me. But is there anybody who you think, if Indiana does win that game and then loses, let's say on Thursday, what other teams should we be rooting as Indiana fans to not make a run?
I'd say anybody in the Atlantic 10. Dayton is now your number one priority beyond the Hoosiers.
It has to win,
because I don't know
if
that anybody else in the Atlantic 10 gets in. But I know somebody will get in if they beat Dayton, if somebody beats Dayton.
Right.
So that's a huge one. That's priority number one. For the American Conference, it's really problematic there because there are probably 5 teams that could win that thing. Only Houston is absolutely guaranteed to get in. So best case scenario for bubble teams is Houston winning the American. Second best case scenario is probably Cincinnati winning because they've been borderline, and that would just assure that that league would get 2 and probably no more. Wichita, I think Wichita is a team that the analytics people love. If you look at their resume, there is no resume. It's like you're like where's the print? There's nothing here,
right?
And so I think anyone outside of those 3 teams, and the team that I would fear the most to do the damage is UConn. They've gotten a lot better. They got some pretty good players. Probably not quite enough of them to have had a great year, but they are capable of beating everybody in that league, and they've got a terrific coach. So that's one that I would say would be really a priority. Last night was huge for bubble teams. East Tennessee State winning the Southern Conference was obviously beneficial. And beyond that, I think, I don't know that there's anybody else out there that you have to be overly concerned about. You're fine in the WCC. All 3 of the teams that were left last night, and now the two finalists. Once Gonzaga won the San Francisco game, the West Coast Conference's circumstance was secure.
Right.
I have to give you one more team to think about, and I don't think it'll happen. But watch out for Washington in the Pac-12. The Pac-12 has a lot of good teams. One probably, in this particular season, excellent team, and that's Oregon. Washington could maybe steal their way through the way Oregon did a year ago. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think they're as good as Oregon was a year ago. But they are dangerous because they have 2 NBA players in their starting lineup.
UCLA's been on a good run as well.
I think they're going to, I think that UCLA is probably going to make it regardless. I don't think they will if they lose their quarterfinal. But if they get past that, I think they'll probably make it. That would be a circumstance in which I don't necessarily think, they're probably going to get 7 teams, and most of them toward the back of the bracket. Like I said, UCLA losing their first game would maybe take them out. Just about everybody else, maybe Stanford as well. That's the other team that's not particularly safe. It wouldn't hurt any bubble team to see the Cardinal go down.
One of our listeners in Evansville, Sally, says, Mike DeCourcy is my favorite basketball analyst. He appears on more than one program she listens to, wondering if any other fan bases request your time more than the Indiana fan base does.
And the Kentucky people listen to me a lot, too. I do a few, and that particular fan may be one who listens to some of my stuff on various Kentucky radio stations as well. I do appear some there, and I obviously try to, I do enjoy talking to people about basketball. So when people ask, I'm certainly happy to do it.
He is right now one of the busiest people in college basketball, and we are grateful as always, especially today, that you spend your time with us, Mike. We really, truly, genuinely appreciate you and appreciate your time because, like I said, Big Ten Network, Fox, Sporting News, who knows what else you got going on. You are a busy, busy man, and this is Christmas.
Well, thanks, fellas. I was happy to join you and enjoy the tournament in Indy this week. Hopefully I'll see you around and enjoy the rest of March as well.
We certainly will. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you, Mike.
Thanks, guys.
Make sure you follow him. Thank you, Mike DeCourcy. There he is, the great Mike DeCourcy joining us here. Make sure you're following him on Twitter at TSN Mike. He is everywhere. He is ubiquitous, and we're grateful that he's a friend of ours and comes to join us here, man. He's always great stuff. Love talking with him. He's one of my absolute favorites. There's hands down.
Yeah, I mean, he is. I just don't. I wish people knew how much we said this stuff prior to him coming on the show fairly regularly, because he does exactly what we have respected for years. And he takes the information and studies it and researches it and puts it all out there and gives us the information. I mean, he's our Google. I mean, he's our NCAA Google guy. Instead of us having to look it up, he's already done it for us.
He's a sports guy. He's not writing this stuff and doing this stuff and saying, hey, look at me. He doesn't do any of that. And I love that about him.
Yeah, as opposed to somebody saying that they should come up with a new category just because he feels like it should be it.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, we got lots more coming up here on Indiana Sports Beat with Coyle Larry. Stay tuned. We're back with it right after this. Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
I'm Rain Shaddy, and I'm a Hoosier. As a toddler, you could always find me running around in a cream and crimson onesie and a red IU hat reminiscent of those worn during the world-famous William Tell timeout, shouting, "Go Hoosiers!" Like many other alum, I chose to make Bloomington my home. As a civic and alumni leader, I have become very knowledgeable about our community and would love to share my insights with you as your realtor. Find me on Facebook or call or text me, Ryan Shaddy, with FC Tucker Bloomington Realtors at 765-623-9093.
Now that warm weather has arrived, it's time to hit the links, and there's no better place than the Golf Club at Eagle Point in Bloomington. Voted best golf course by the readers of the Bloomington Herald-Times, the Golf Club at Eagle Point is under new ownership, has new fairways and bunkers, and it's open to the public. When the round's over, there's cold beer and a full menu at the Eagle Point Pub and Bistro. Call 812-824-1100 to make it tee time. That's 812-824-1100. The Golf Club at Eagle Point in Bloomington.
This is AJ Moye.
This is Dan Dockett.
Hey, this is Michael Lewis, former Indiana basketball player.
This is Indiana football coach Tom Allen.
This is Jim Coyle with the Indiana Sports Beat. You can always like and follow us on Facebook. Always follow the show rebroadcast on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. TheDailyHoosier.com is a great place to sign up for each and every day. Or, of course, on 97.7 The Ref in Evansville.
Some of the best sounds you'll ever hear are generic, safe, effective, even money-saving, just like FDA-approved generic drugs. Even if they don't come in the exact same color or shape as their brand name equivalents, they have the same key ingredients and go through a rigorous review process. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist today and visit fda.gov/generic drugs. Generics are safe, effective, and can save you money. You'll like the sound of that.
Hey, it's Michael Lewis, former Indiana University player and current UCLA assistant basketball coach, and you're listening to Indiana Sports Beat.
Yeah, welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat. Coyle Leary with you here on this Tuesday. Just finished up with our good friend Michael DeCourcy from Fox, Big Ten News, Sporting News. He's everywhere. He is the man. He's going to rise up. I think he's going to overtake Joe Lunardi. He's going to become the new guy.
Well, I think from now on we should just refer to that other guy as the Cookie Monster.
Well, it certainly fits. That's for sure.
Because he's an idiot. No, I'm just kidding. I've always liked Joe Lunardi. I have always enjoyed everything he's always put out there. I'd be the first one to stand right in front of him and say, hey, look, you know what? Sometimes people need to tell you when you've gotten too big for your britches, and you're too big for your britches, brother, because nobody wants your opinion. We want your factual analysis.
We're going to be finding out how all that stuff plays out at the end of this week as the Big Ten tournament starts tomorrow. Indiana taking on Nebraska tomorrow evening. We will be there. And, of course, that means after the game with Todd Leary. Man, I almost forgot. It's been a few days. We forgot about that. Coming to you from the Tap up in Indianapolis on Mass Ave tomorrow evening. Wow, it's here, man.
Late. Super late.
But with a win, you're going to want to tune in because with a win, that means Indiana is in the NCAA tournament. So we will make that official announcement if that happens. We're just going to put them in.
I'm going to go ahead and give you the seed and where they're going to play and everything.
So make sure you tune in. And, of course, don't forget to go to thehoosier.com, Indiana Rivals. Sign up, get an account there. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything, but you can catch the shows there as well. But plenty of other content as they keep providing you. And it's, like I said, free to just go sign up and get that there because we're going to have plenty of stuff there over the next several months.
You know something we haven't discussed off the air, and I probably shouldn't bring it up on the air, but you know, I've never been one to follow the rules. Why stop now? So we should do a show on Sunday after the selections come out.
That is an absolutely.
We should do our Facebook Live after the selection show.
We are going. That is an absolutely outstanding idea. We're going to start working on that immediately today. We may where we're going to do that from and all that. Let's set that up. Maybe we're back at Yogi's. Who knows? But that needs to happen. That's an outstanding idea. So,
I'm full of outstanding ideas.
That one's certainly a good one. Now we got to get some guests on that for that show, too. That would be outstanding. Set that up.
Can we get Lunardi? Let's see if we can get Lunardi.
Who?
Yeah. I wish I could do a Cookie Monster voice, but I can't.
Yeah, I can't.
I need Dikembe Mutombo to say it for me.
Not here. Cookie Monster. Man.
Dikembe Mutombo has done the voice for the Cookie Monster for many, many years.
Are you that serious?
You didn't know that?
I did not.
I made it up. But have you ever heard him talk? He sounds just like the Cookie Monster.
Yeah, that commercial he did was pretty funny. I mean, it's it's pretty funny stuff. Peyton Ramsey off to Northwestern. You don't have to worry about losing to him, though, because they do not play next season. One of the reasons why he went there, but looking forward to watching him play up there. Hopefully he does good. He gets another opportunity to knock off Purdue.
Here's a question. This just popped in my head yesterday. This will tell you the randomness that pops in my head. So will we root for Peyton Ramsey at Northwestern any more than you would, let's say Samson James went to Tennessee. Let's just make up a school that we don't love.
No, they would not, because Peyton was done, had lost his job, so he wasn't. You're not losing anything, and he's given you 3 good years. Where, I think that they would not. That would not. The love would not be the same from the IU Hoosier Nation. I'm pretty.
You don't
certain
think?
on that. No.
Is that fair?
Fair, no, but. Who said life is fair? No, absolutely not.
IHSAA? IHSAA said
that's a bastion of fairness right there.
They came up with a class system that just made everything fair.
Everybody gets a trophy.
Everything is fair.
Yeah,
I know we're getting ready to get something from Sarah in Evansville. I'm sorry, Sarah.
Devontae Green tweaked an ankle. We talked. He had a really poor second half. In that last game against Wisconsin. And part of that was maybe he tweaked that ankle and he wasn't able to move like he did in that first half because he did not score again. But Archie said that they're very hopeful to have him back for tomorrow's game. He said that on his radio show yesterday. I don't know if you have that, Jake, but talk about that a little bit.
As long as we have him for Thursday's game, they won't need him tomorrow.
You certainly hope not. But, hey, man, stranger things have happened, The Indiana's still on the search for an athletics director. I don't think anything has changed, but obviously they've met with – I would imagine that they've met with the major candidates. So being Scott Dolson is probably – I don't know if he's the leading candidate, but he is – if there are 3 leaders, he's one – it's A, B, and C. He's one of them, along with Pat Kraft and, of course – Chris Reynolds, who is the athletic director over at Bradley in Springfield, Illinois. Pat Kraft, the athletic director at Temple, has had success. They've won conference titles in football and basketball under his watch over there. All 3 of these guys are IU graduates. So you're going to get an IU guy no matter what for this job. That's pretty much a certainty.
Yep. I mean, it sure would appear that way from the outside, but I don't have any inside information, but I can tell you, as being an alumni and a part of the athletic department and program for a long time, that if Scott Dolson is not it, then I will be just a little bit disappointed. And I love Chris Reynolds.
But you're not going to move to England or anything.
No, I'm not going to move out of the United States because of it. I mean, I'm not going to become an Ohio State fan or do anything real stupid.
Not entering the transfer portal.
No, that would not do it. But I will be, and truly, like I'm telling you, this is my opinion. Like I know Scott Dolson. I know what he has given to the athletic department and the university itself. And I know that he bleeds IU, and there is not a single decision he would ever make that he did not think was the best for IU. And he's the least self-serving person that I know in that position. So I just can't, that's just my opinion of it. I'm sure other people have different opinions.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to how they. Scott's a great guy. I'm if he gets it, I'll be happy for him. I do not know Pat Kraft. I don't know Chris Reynolds. You know Chris Reynolds, but whatever they do, it's going to be for the best for the school. I hope. I like where, regardless of who it ends up, I think that they're going to be in good shape with these three people. I think most people would be happy. Chris Reynolds has lots of experience, what he's doing over there. Pat Kraft, obviously, success and experience where he is, and Scott, the same here at Indiana. So
yeah, here's the thing. I think the job is going to be insanely sought after by a lot more people than who we've just mentioned, because it's being left in such a good place. I mean, there is no. I'd be surprised and have not heard an argument that Fred Glass would be leaving this in anything other than an uptick in a really good position, because the facilities are better, the coaches are better, the programs are better, like all the way around across the board. I think you can say that Fred Glass has done an outstanding job, and they're leaving it. It's not like someone's coming in and taking over in turmoil and has a whole bunch of things to fix and do right off the bat.
You have a Sam's Club membership or any of those other big box places?
I do.
I'm looking at a video right now, and I guess this is all about the coronavirus. It looks like a Sam's or one of those big places. They open the doors, and then you just see this herd of people sprinting with carts, and then two guys are beside each other. They're racing to get to wherever they're getting to, but it's hilarious.
What are they trying to buy?
I who knows? Any and everything. Water. See, they're grabbing. Oh wow, yeah, tissues. I mean, these people are just unloading these pallets into their carts and just, it's crazy. I mean, is it gotten that bad? Are we that, is it that crazy out there?
Why wouldn't those people have just stayed home and not been put themselves in position to be around other people?
It's like they think that an apocalypse is coming and that it's going to, you're going to be.
And those tissues are going to save them?
That's going to be the last tissues on earth. But maybe who knows, 3 months from now, maybe people are breaking into their houses trying to steal toilet paper. I don't know.
Well, if that's the case, then they'll be toilet paper rich. That just seems idiotic to me.
It's nuts, man. And I'm serious, man. I'm really starting to wonder, Todd, as this gets. I mean, if you do watch the news, this coronavirus, it's like multiplying fast.
Well, when you see what it's done to the economy, when you see the Dow go down 2,000 points in a day, I mean. You want to say people are overreacting, but I mean, people can do whatever they want with their money. So I'm not here to tell anybody what they can and can't do with it. So I don't want to say they're overreacting. I just, when you keep seeing all the reports remember the West Nile virus, and I know I'm forgetting a whole bunch of them, but there was just a whole bunch of different things that have been supposed to have been gigantic issues in the last, 30 years. And they just kind of seem to get more media attention than what they actually affect. Now, if I had a family member that had died from the coronavirus, I'd be treating it a little different, I'm sure.
I agree, man. Looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to going up to.
You're looking forward to that? Thanks a lot.
No, I'm looking forward to going to.
I know, it's just what it sounded like.
To the Big Ten tournament tomorrow to get everything started, to actually be there and because man, when you walk into the building, and I know it's different as a player for you and whatnot, but just for me, I love all these events. You walk in and you just start to feel that excitement. It starts to build.
Well, here's something I will tell you that. If you want to take a positive note of Indiana playing on Wednesday, let me give you the player's perspective. First of all, games are the most fun part of playing. So that's a pretty obvious statement. But, getting to play or having to play, however you want to look at it, on Wednesday, you travel a day earlier. So go there today. Traveling, I always liked. I like to eat. And we always eat really nice restaurants. And, so that's an extra day of that you get to do. To be honest with you, I mean, to make it sound just as plain and simple as it can be, it's one day less of practice because we're playing a game that day. So that's always a positive. I mean, game days are so much more fun than practices. So, from a player's perspective, it's not a bad thing for them to play. And how many times have we seen this? Valparaiso is a great example. How many times have we seen this where the teams that get to go play and get more comfortable with the arena and the environment end up making a run and go on a 3 or 4 or 5 day run and get to the finals? And Indiana it is scripted perfectly for Indiana to get to go in there, play a game early. Then your second round game against Penn State. I mean, I think we said it yesterday. If I could pick anyone to play on that second day, that's probably the team I would pick to play. And at that point, if you win 2 games, anything can happen Friday and Saturday and Sunday.
That's what makes it so great. And it is true. It is absolutely true. And it's not that it won't happen. It's going to happen to somebody. It's going to multiple somebodies. That's the great thing.
It's already happened. I mean, Valpo had a chance at making the tournament, going on a 4-day run, winning 4 games in 4 days, and put themselves right there. I mean, they just ran out of gas against Bradley, and they had it so primed. I mean, they had the John Kaiser kid from Noblesville. just had an outstanding. I think I heard him say he was a former walk-on, which surprises me because he was good enough in high school to have a scholarship. But anyway, I mean, that team was, it was just kind of like Bryce Drew's old Valpo team. I mean, it was set up perfectly for them to make a run and get to the NCAA tournament. Like it was, it was right there for them. And that is what you'll love about this. I mean, yes, they're from Indiana, so we're rooting for them, but I mean, Valpo was going to be the story of the tournament. I mean, they were going to be the story of the team making the tournament. Had no chance besides winning.
Costco's out of toilet paper per Ryan. This is crap. I mean, I shouldn't laugh because it's a serious deal. I'm not trying to make light of it. I'm just, it's just weird to see all this stuff. I'm like, I would hope that if all the precautions are taken, like I'm not a big hand washer all the time. I'm a country boy, but now I'm washing my hands all the time. Just really trying to be conscious.
I'm a germaphobe. I've got antibacterial stuff with me all the time.
He's walking around in a suit.
Just let me know. I'll give you a squirt.
He's walking around in a plastic suit. No, it's like the NFL. No skin exposed whatsoever.
Yeah, pretty close.
But seriously, by the time we get to the NCAA tournament, I guarantee you, I cannot imagine there not being a serious effect on the NCAA tournament because we're still 2 weeks away from, or a week and a half away from playing in that tournament. So, and as we've seen this thing just continue to morph and morph and morph, I'm like, there's no way it's not going to affect it because we have 3 weeks of the tournament.
So if they're saying, I think I saw something in Italy or England or somewhere.
They shut Italy. Italy is shut down.
They're suspending it until April the 3rd.
They have shut the entire country down.
So here's my question. So if that's the case, so let's say in the next, between now and next Monday, it gets out of control. Is there any way they just postpone the NCAA tournament till April?
No, I think they just fans are not allowed in.
Yeah, but then can you take the risk of players being out there, banging up against each other and all that stuff? I mean, can you take that risk?
I think they will.
If you're the NCAA,
I think they will. I mean, I think that the worst thing is going to happen.
Boycotting, and you'll have.
Nah, I think that the worst thing is just they'll keep the fans out. I mean, I think that's it. I mean, I think that's the worst that it gets to. But that's pretty bad when you can't. How weird! Can you imagine playing an NCAA tournament with no fans?
No.
I mean, LeBron James, they talked to them about the potential of the NBA doing it. He goes, no, it ain't happening because I ain't playing with no fans. He said he would. Now, whether he does, that's a different story.
I mean, you feed a lot off of the atmosphere itself. I mean, I don't know. We should get some Ohio State fans or somebody, some Ohio State former players on here. I mean, they generally play in front of nobody. Not the football team, but the basketball team does. I mean, they don't generally have any fans in the stands.
Todd's a Buckeye lover.
I was going to say Kentucky, but their fan base is way too big to say that.
They definitely show up and show out.
And I'm definitely not going to say Purdue because that's the craziest stadium I've ever been in.
There you go, Tim. He'll be lighting it up here. Let's hit a break while the text line gets lit up after all those comments. We'll be back with more from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios. Coy O'Leary back right after this. Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a wink smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Pittsburgh. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of your family for 30 years. Let Dr. Roger J. Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65, 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-36. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-36.
I'm Ray Shaddy, and I'm a Hoosier. As a toddler, you always find me running around in a cream and crimson onesie, a red IU hat reminiscent of the one during the World Famous William Tell tournament, shouting, "Go Hoosiers!" Like many other alum, I chose to make Bloomington my home. As a civic and alumni leader, I have become very knowledgeable about our community and would love to share my insights with you as your realtor. Find me on Facebook or call or text me, Ryan Shaddy, with FC Tucker Bloomington Realtors at 765-623-9093.
Now that warm weather has arrived, it's time to hit the links, and there's no better place than the golf club at Eagle Point in Bloomington. Voted best golf course by the readers of the Bloomington Herald-Times, the golf club at Eagle Point is under new ownership, has new fairways and bunkers, and it's open to the public. When the round's over, there's cold beer and a full menu at the Eagle Point Pub and Bistro. Call 812-824-1100 to make it tee time. That's 812-824-1100. The golf club at Eagle Point in Bloomington.
This is AJ Moye.
This is Dan Dawkins.
Hey, this is Michael Lord, former Indiana basketball player.
This is Indiana football coach Tom Allen.
This is Jim Coyle with the Indiana Sports Beat. You can always like and follow us on Facebook. Always follow the show rebroadcast on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. TheDailyHoosier.com is a great place to sign up for each and every day. Or, of course, on 97.7 The Ref in Evansville.
Some of the best sounds you'll ever hear are generic. Safe. Effective. Even money-saving, just like FDA-approved generic drugs. Even if they don't come in the exact same color or shape as their brand name equivalents, they have the same key ingredients and go through a rigorous review process. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist today and visit fda.gov/generic drugs. Generics are safe, effective, and can save you money. You'll like the sound of that.
Hi, this is AJ Moye, and you're listening to Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle.
Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat. Coyle Larry here on this Tuesday, coming to you from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios. Man, I'm telling you, I'm going to be shocked if the IHSA tournament is also not affected here by this, because we were talking about this off air. You look at Seymour, Todd, the largest gym in the world. They've already had 24,000 people there for the sectional. This is the biggest deal for Indiana high school basketball moneymaker. I mean, think about all these gyms that are just loaded. Seymour 8,000, Lagodi, all these Southport, all these big gyms that are packed. And Jake mentioned Avon. Their elementary schools are closed because I think a kid has gotten it, but they're involved. I just don't see them. I can't imagine. Do you think that they make it through this entire tournament without having to take action to stem the fans?
I mean, my initial reaction would be, yeah, I don't think that they will go to those measures. But when you have an entire country like Italy canceling all sporting events, I mean, that's pretty unprecedented. That's pretty unprecedented. So I honestly don't know.
Well, California right here, you couldn't have only 1,000 people would be allowed in, because you cannot have gatherings of more than 1,000 people now.
So wait a minute, do they have an NCAA tournament site?
Well, what about NBA games? I mean, how's that going to work? We're going to dig into that. I mean, this is going to turn into something, and I think it's going to turn into something quickly. That's why I'm wondering, because these tournaments are just now getting started, and like the NCAA is 3 weeks ago. We'll look back 3 weeks ago where the coronavirus was, and look today. It's mind-boggling. So what's it going to be 3 weeks from now?
Yeah, I don't know.
What's that, Jake? What's that? The West region is scheduled to be at the Staples Center right now, and California has instituted a no more than. I don't know how it's going to work out. It's going to be incredible to see. This is unprecedented for my lifetime. Something like this. I mean, it's quickly possibly going to become a pandemic. So there you go. I was right before I thought I was going to be right.
Man, it was quicker than you thought. That was way quicker than you thought.
I'm not used to being right that quick. But man, it's weird. It's just another thing. Does that seek
And I would think not, but does that seep into an athlete's head? Because this is crazy. This is a different kind of thing, man.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think so. I don't know. I mean, I can't speak for them. You know, here's the thing. You get so wrapped up in preparation and what you've got going on, like, you know, and they're always telling you, don't in our case, don't watch the news. In today's world, it's a little bit different, but now with all the social media and everything, you can't avoid not knowing about what's going on out there. So I mean, heck, I don't know. And I don't think it would affect them, but I don't know.
During the Big Ten tournament, the locker rooms are open like it is with a lot of other places. Indiana does not do that. So that's not the case for us during the season, but they don't have an option during the Big Ten tournament. I don't think if the locker rooms, but I think they're working to get those closed. I
saw the NBA did that already. The NBA is not allowing anyone into that, which, what are you eliminating at that point? Like, what, 20 media people, 50 media people? Like, is that really really that big of a deal?
But they usually keep them separated anyway, so I don't think that's going to be
I was kind of took that personally, like they were saying media people are dirtier than the average person. We're not letting the media people in here. We'll let all these, whatever. I'll just get in trouble for saying that. But
hey, I've seen some of these guys. They ain't wrong. No, I'm kidding.
Terry Hutchins would have a funny comment.
Oh my God,
right there,
man! Do you have any idea how much I would love to be able to still have Terry on every Thursday? Thursdays are just never have been the same for over a year now since we lost him. Man, he was just the funniest dude with the driest sense of humor. Just kept me on my toes all the time. I was happy. I'm like, are you mad about something? Nope. You could just never. It's like, wow, you could never tell. He was such a character.
He was. Man. I traveled with him with my 8 years of doing the IU radio network. I traveled with him most of the time, and he's just one of those people you enjoy being around. He was funny. His dry wit and sense of humor was unmatched.
Did anybody have more? Did anybody have more stories than Terry Hutchins?
Yeah, there's some people that have more, but Terry's very good at telling them, so it makes it seem like he's got a million.
They were awesome.
They were great.
Well, man, we can't thank everybody enough for joining us, as always, here on the program.
I got to get to Costco. We got to get off of here, man.
Got to get to Costco. Tomorrow, not sure about the lineup yet. Working on a couple of big names. But I'm just going to hold on to them and wait.
You can say it. Hoiberg's supposed to be on here, but you know how that goes.
Yeah, we're trying to get Fred on. Also, possibly Calvert Chaney may be with us, seeing how his schedule works out. We never know. Never know how things are going to go. But it's going to be fun no matter what, because it always is. And tomorrow the Big Ten tournament starts.
Freaking game day. That's why it's going to be cool.
And after the game with Todd Leary comes to you live tomorrow night from the Tap on Mass Ave in Indianapolis, as we move studios for the Big Ten tournament. Make sure you feel free to join us or stop in at the Tap and have yourself a bite and a beer before or after the game. But we'll be up there looking forward to it, man. I'm excited and ready to get to it, man. It is tournament time, Todd Leary.
Yeah, I know it. I'm ready. Next show will be a game day. I'm ready.
Well, thanks a lot to everybody. We appreciate you. Thanks a lot to Michael DeCourcy for joining us, as well as Chronic Hoosier, who you didn't get to hear because of a technical problem on our end. But for Jake and Todd, I'm Jim Coyle. I will see you on the radio.